Welcome back to Crypto Front. This is the front line where we are fighting together side by side for financial freedom. So yes, finally guys, I can come to you and make a JASMY video. I'm sure that some of you have been wondering where I was. Did I run away because the market, plunged when I was anticipating the price to go towards the upside? I'll talk about all those things in today's video. But I think that from the beginning, we have to understand that the crash that we actually saw on Friday was not isolated to the JASMY price that I mentioned a little earlier, that JASMY crashed like 70% in less than 1 hour. But this really was not something specific to JASMY. It was really just about the rest of the market. Everything went, some things we saw even Atom going to zero literally on some exchanges. So is there anything wrong with the JASMY project itself? Well, I would say at this point, I don't think so. I think that we have a general crypto problem. So if we're going to be saying JASMY is dead, I think we should also pretty much say the same thing about the rest of the other cryptos, right? So now I may be sounding like I'm defending JASMY, but I just wanted to make sure that, it's not because JASMY is an S-word coin that it crashed like 70% and, it's never going to be returning. We don't know that for sure. Now, the most important thing here, or the most important question is like, okay, what's going to be happening next, right? Yes, we did not see how big this crash was going to be like, but I have to say here that I really, really regret something. And the thing that I regret here is not that I bought JASMY or I was holding JASMY, because honestly speaking, I was also holding a whole bunch of different other cryptocurrencies that went down as much as JASMY did. But one thing that I regret so much is that I did not communicate what I was seeing in the market in real time. My last video is about 6 days ago, and I was mentioning a bullish scenario here of JASMY pushing towards the upside. However, soon after that video, 8th of October, I was talking to my Patreon members in our private Discord group, and I was, telling them that, look guys, I'm pondering on some big decisions here I have to make on my portfolio. The question on my mind is that, okay, what if the market fails to break out, right? I'm prepared, of course, if the market really goes bananas, but what if this time is very different and 10x is no longer a standard in this market? I was obviously putting a laughing emoji right there. Then I say that I will share my decision with you later today. So this is the 8th of October. This is way before this crash even happened. The reason why I was posting these things actually in our private Discord group is because I was seeing some concerns on the chat. I'll talk about that in a few seconds. And what I'm going to say here is going to be affecting whatever I'm going to do going forward here. So please, I want you to listen very carefully. And I don't want anybody to confuse my words or anything like that. I want to say exactly what is on my heart, and then we can see whether we're going to be moving on or anything like that. So, of course, one of my Patreon members by the name Angel, he was like, okay, isn't that the risk that we always take with altcoins? It's always a chance. I said, yes, of course. It's always a chance, but I need to readjust my portfolio, selling half of everything that is in profit, and I intend to buy back after a clear breakout of all indexes. When I was saying indexes here, I was talking about all the crypto indexes like Total 1, Total 2, and Total 3. Currently, they all have bearish divergences on the weekly time frames, and it's hard to ignore. Prices has to, pump real soon to invalidate these divergences. Until then, the risk of, being fully long is getting too big to manage for me. So I'll remain in the market with half of my portfolio. If, let's put this part here. If we eventually have these things resolved, then I will buy back. If the market continues to be weak, the only way to make money is to short the price. So, I think you already get a, big picture of what I'm trying to say here. And I was really mentioning that this is such a big, hard decision for me to make because I've been a bull for like 4 years straight. Now, why am I doubting the market right now? Now, very simply put, I actually went on to share this photo, and this was the Bitcoin price. And I was mentioning that, look, we've got this rising wedge, and then we have got the bearish divergences, just as I was posting in this whole long message right there. Then I also went to show how the total market cap of crypto was looking with another rising wedge, and of course, a bearish divergence in the RSIs on the weekly time frame. So with that, I sold my portfolio, and I also posted an X on the 9th of October saying that I just sold 50% of my crypto holdings that were in profit, right? I will explain in a video later, and it was a very tough decision for me to make, but I have to, I have already communicated with my patrons. Unfortunately, this video that I was saying that I will explain in a video, it never came. I just got super busy. Some of you guys, if you've been a regular on the channel, you know that I'm working on my master's thesis, and because of that, I just could not find enough time. So this was late because This was the 9th of October, and on the 10th of October, we had the crash before I could even make a video and come to you guys and tell you exactly what was what. So this is the one thing that I really regret, because for me, yes, the crash happened, but it did not happen with all my portfolio exposed. At least for me, I had, some cash on the side from the profits that I had taken right there. I was also, sharing to some of the people who are very much close in my circles that, you should sell your crypto. Unfortunately, this was Thursday, as you can see right there. Friday, the whole thing happened before I could make a video and share with you guys. I really regret so much that I did not make that video, because maybe, just maybe, it could have saved 1 or 2 people. And that's the whole mission in any case. So now the question becomes, what is going to be happening next year for the JASMY price? Yes, I was seeing those weaknesses on the, weekly timeframes and stuff like that. I did not make a video in time. But what really does this mean? That, okay, the market has crashed, like we saw JASMY crashing along with everything else. Are we going to be recovering here? Or this thing is just a bull trap and then it will come all the way down right there? We begin another very much bearish period in the crypto market. Let me go ahead and do a breakdown right there. So we have seen, of course, ever since then, the JASMY price set and a lot of other crypto altcoins also have managed to go up very much significantly. I think from the low that JASMY was setting here, you can see that it's up already 170%. So from where we were on Friday, I think we're only down like 10% right now. It's really insane. It's unbelievable. But the pain was felt. It was real. Now, structurally speaking, okay, this thing has been damaged. It doesn't make any sense. But actually, if you go ahead and take a look at the daily candles here for JASMY, for example, you will see that the chart actually managed to close the daily candles right around where it was setting its low back in April in this year, 2025. So structurally speaking, I think we can ignore this week right there on the JASMY price and act as if there is enough support already here. Now, the validity of that argument, only time will tell, to be honest with you. But I would say that here, if JASMY eventually goes on to lose maybe something like 0.009, closing daily candles below that level, now this is something that is totally different, because we are taking even the lows that we had back in April right there, and the next meaningful levels of support will be way down here around maybe something like 0.0046 or something like that. But for now, to be honest with you, just like a miracle, JASMY, looking at the daily candle closes, it did not break something significantly. I mean, I would say almost the same thing for pretty much every altcoin, because once again, what we learned from this whole thing is that all these coins are moving together in tandem. And if that's not clear, I don't know what else is clear. Now, does this mean that everything is now okay for the JASMY price set and it's all going to be sunshines and rainbows again? We push towards the upside. I think we are far from it. We need time. We definitely need time. And it's not one of those moments that we really have to analyze the chart every single time with no bias whatsoever, because we can't be repeating the same thing over and over again. So technically speaking, okay, JASMY held those daily candle closes. That's fine. It's not a coincidence that we are seeing a bounce right there, or the candles closing right around that area. But if those are to be broken, we also understand that we are in for not such a great time right there. However, we shouldn't only be looking at the JASMY price at itself. Just as I said a little bit earlier on, the rest of the market was just, affected by this. I was showing you that message which I was sending to Patreon members, and I was saying that I have concerns here with where, the total market cap of crypto is, for example, because it was showing this rising wedge and, of course, a bearish divergence on the RSI. Has that changed so far? Unfortunately, that situation is still holding, as you can see today on a weekly time frame as well. So until something changes here on the total market cap of crypto, I think we don't have to flip bullish at the moment. Let me show you the message one more time. I was saying that clearly that I intend to buy back after a clear breakout of all these indexes. So for me, until and unless we have a clear breakout of, number one, the total market cap of crypto, invalidating all this bearish divergence on the RSI on the weekly time frame, I don't think nothing has changed for this market yet. We are still looking very much weak. Total 2, I think it's also the same story. You can see that we have got rejection. Yes, before this crash, we were looking and we were anticipating for a huge push towards the upside. We have not yet had a breakout. Once again, the bearish divergence still exists right there. So these things are things that needs to be invalidated. And once they are invalidated, I mean, I'm gonna be bullish again into this market, because why shouldn't I be bullish, right? I've been bullish for 4 years straight talking about JASMY. I mean, it has done some great time. I remember from the lows of the bottom until where we peaked right around like 6 cents, we pumped at least like 22x. I think that was a success. So for now, let's just be honest right there. We're not going to be pretending as if, okay, it's over and we're going to be pushing towards the upside that easily until these bearish divergences get resolved. This was the reason that I sold before the crash, and I'm not going to be buying back in. And I don't think that magically we're going to be turning bullish out of nowhere. We have to get these things objectively starting to point that they are bullish once again. Now, we also were looking at the Bitcoin price in my message, at least that I was posting to my Patreon members, and still the bearish divergences exist here for the Bitcoin price. So all in all, what I'm trying to say here is that going forward here for the JASMY price, that we don't have to close a low below 0.009 here on a daily time frame, because also number two, if we look at the weekly time frame here, we can start to see that momentum has started officially building towards the bearish side here. This has to change for us to turn bullish here for JASMY. Number three, the Bitcoin price is still maintaining its bearish divergences. That is not good for the market. Total market cap of crypto is still with a rising wedge and also a bearish divergence. Until these things change, I think this is where JASMY is going to be able to stand a chance and start, building towards the upside. But of course, yes, so far so good on a daily time frame. I think we are looking okay. It just doesn't paint a picture to say, all right, everything is now good. But I'm just saying that compared to where we were on Friday, we are only down 11%. That is something to celebrate, at least for now. But those concerns are still right there. We're going to have to take this on a daily basis and try to analyze and see what's what right there. So I will be checking in every day. And as I said, try as much as possible just to present the numbers and not get emotions or feelings involved in any of this, because I think that's the only way we're going to be able to work out of this whole thing, because there is not only one way of making money in this market. You can also, short the price should it be very much clear here that the JASMY price that is too weak for that, for a recovery. But other than that, I want to wish the best for everybody. And I hope that, we find recovery from where the JASMY price that is at this point, and we can start pushing to our price targets. It's a little bit uncalled for right now to start calling for price targets because the market is still in recovery mode. One more thing that we don't have to forget is that crypto was already crashing before the crash happened after the US market closed. But before the close of the US stock market, things were falling together. So we'll see how equities also open on Monday, and from there, as I said, we're going to be making very much regular updates if possible, maybe 2 videos a day. I don't know how I'm going to be finding time, considering that I'm working on my master's thesis, but we'll have to see what we have to do right there. I really feel the pain just like everybody else did. For me, it was slightly much better because for one reason or the other, I had sold that 50% just before the crash happened. I'm not going to be claiming here that I was a genius or anything like that. Probably it was also just coincidence that I came across those bearish divergences and stuff like that. But I really regret not informing a lot of people here, because maybe, just maybe, one person could have been helped by it. So I want to thank you so much for watching the video. If you could, please just delicately tap the like button, and I'll see you tomorrow in a new update. Thank you. Bye-bye.